Lord Captain. Raver's voice over the box sounds weary rather than annoyed. I'm getting reports of several ships moving towards us. Judging by the fact that they're not responding to our hails and the telemetry shows a trail of macro batteries, they're not here for a chinwag, ready to issue orders to prepare for battle at your command. I hope they give me a chance to recheck what positions my crew is all at. Where did they come from? Why haven't you noticed them before? Could this be the work of Kunad Voltvir? Can we evade this combat? On my order, all stations are ready for void combat. Where did they come from? Why haven't you noticed them before? The rubbish of the Furibundus, and I'm not talking about those wrecks that are about to open fire. I mean the remains of meteorites, gas clouds, refuse from the shipyards. It's all bunched together, and the smaller ships hide behind it to harass ships as they emerge from the warp. Could this be the work of Kunad Voltvir? The silence of the Vox lasts for several seconds. It's possible. He could have hired some scum, or maybe it's just a pirate who saw the state of our ship and decided to push his luck. Can we evade this combat? Rabor snorts and perhaps chuckles. I don't think so, Lord Captain. There'd be no reason to. It'll be easier to blast these scum to smithereens than to evade them. We'll warn Footfall we're coming with a few macro salvos. On my orders, all stations get ready for void combat. We haven't done void combat yet, so that'll be interesting. I'm sure they'll give me a tutorial, because I certainly don't know the process.
The whispers sound distant. The future is uncertain.
Moving the ship in combat. You have engaged the enemy in space combat. Battles in space and on the surface of planets work quite differently from one another. In space combat, the battlefield is separated into 3 zones marked by various degrees of brightness. Acceleration zone, mid-movement zone, and movement zone. Ships travel at high speeds even during combat, which is why both your ships and those of your enemies must move a certain distance each round. You can only end your turn once your ship has traveled this minimum required distance upon entering the end movement zone. To move your ship, click the left mouse button on any accessible cell of the battlefield. Once you do, you will see a hologram of the ship that will allow you to evaluate the efficiency of future attacks and actions from the position just as you would in regular combat. Click the left mouse button again to confirm your choice and command the ship to move. Alternatively, you can click right mouse button to remove the hologram. Okay, so that works just like normal combat. So the Daring Destiny is us. Let's turn so we're facing the ship. So there's just these 2 oncoming ships. We go to void ship management, which obviously we can't upgrade mid-combat, I'm assuming. Yeah, seems that's a no. Not available. We don't know how to upgrade this. I'm assuming when we get into ship combat, we'll gain experience for our ship itself, and that's where this comes into play. Because so far this hasn't leveled up at all. And then posts, which also we can't affect, which is a shame. Wish we would have done this earlier because we gained several people. And possibly some of these positions could have been changed in smarter ways. But it looks like once we're in combat, we're stuck with where everyone's at. Well, we could... Looks like they're in our firing arc right now. Or not. That's our movement. So this is the starting movement. Yeah. And that's our end. So we have to end our turn in this outer ring. Okay. Void ship ram. Flagship rams an enemy, dealing damage. This damage increased by 10% for each void movement point spent by the flagship to get to the enemy's ship, but only after traveling 3 cells. Flagship is slowed and unable to use prow-mounted weapons until the end of its turn. Long-range lance weapon, dealing from 45 to 55 damage to chosen enemy within narrow firing arc. You have 50 health, so that might kill you. You have also 50 health. Launches 4 torpedo salvos with plasma warheads in the selected location. These torpedoes can move and attack starting from the next round. When attacking, each torpedo deals 19 damage on a direct hit and 13 damage within a 1-cell area on miss, detonating on a proximity fuse. We have a port battery, short-range broadside macro cannons, which fire 4 shots, dealing 14 damage per shot. Dorsal macro cannons, 2 shots, 14 damage each. Are those the same? No. So the sides are 4 shots, the front is 2 shots. So we've got swing and run. Flagship flies in a straight line, making a full U-turn at the end of its movement. We have torpedo control, gives control of the nearest torpedo salvo, granting it 5 VMP, whatever that is. VMP, void movement points. Void movement points determine how far a ship can move on their turn. 1 VMP corresponds to 1 cell. Moving diagonally is more costly. Every second cell uses 2 VMP. Okay. So she could make our torpedoes move farther. We have nothing from those guys. And we don't have a shield master. Restart shields. Initiates the process of restarting the shields. The ship will be restored. The shields will be restored at the start of the flagship's next turn. Rerouting the power to the shields reduces the flagship's speed by -3 and firing range by -2. Okay. I guess I'm curious if we went here, then we could shoot you. Actually, maybe we... Can I do both of these in a turn? Do I only get a single action? So that's what I don't know. Because I'd like to launch 4 torpedoes at you. And then move forward and hit this one with our lance weapon. And possibly our macro cannon. Well, one way to find out. I guess we can toss down a quick save just so we can figure out how this works. Okay, so we are choosing directly in front of us where we're shooting these. So launch 4 that way. Torpedoes. You have fired torpedo salvos. Torpedoes will appear next turn in the priority order. Once their turn begins, you will be able to direct them. Your own torpedoes can pass through the space occupied by your flagship without damaging it. As soon as torpedoes reach a cell adjacent to an enemy, they explode. Enemy ships can attack your torpedoes and destroy them before they reach their target. One well-placed shot destroys 1 torpedo in a salvo. Okay, so those are heading there. Then we curve over to here, which allows us to shoot you. 80% chance of doing 0 to 3 damage. Seems less than the 45 to 50 that I was hoping for. What if we were like here? Still 0 to 3. Oh, because you've got shields, don't you? Okay. What if I rammed? Can I ram? Or are you too close? Okay, I need to start turning apparently before I can ram. No, I've got to be... So this only allows straight and diagonal. We can't... So I'd have to be there in order to do the ram. Which I could, it looks like. but I think ram does more the longer we speed up towards it. Oh, only after traveling 3 cells. What if I used this? What kind of damage does that do? Just cuts through the shield a bunch. Well, that does 28 damage. 2 14 damage shots. This should do a whole lot more. But it feels like it's not. So maybe I should break the shield with the cannon and then do the laser? Sure. Your ship is equipped with an arsenal of weapons. Oh, no, come back. Oh, you just moved on. Or did you open a second tutorial on top of the previous tutorial? Not really thrilled by that. Some ships are protected by shields. To deal damage to such an enemy, you must first pierce their shields. 2 shield arrays cover the ship's sides. One protects its bow and one its stern. When facing an enemy ship equipped with shields, choose your angle of attack wisely and direct your fire at a side where the shields are weakened or completely depleted. Note the enemy's shields recover each round. Rogue Trader's flagship is likewise protected by shields. The enemy attacks you from a side where the shields are weakened or depleted. The ship will take damage. The flagship's damaged shields do not recover at the start of the next turn. Instead, they can be restored using the restart shields action on the panel at the bottom of the screen. We did see that. Restarting the shields reduces the flagship's combat efficiency on its next turn. It will have reduced movement speed and firing range. And the other tutorial that you skipped through? She's not going to let me see that? Looks like its shield is gone? No. I have no idea what happened with that shot. 0 to 17 damage. Apparently it did something because we're now doing better damage with this shot. I have no idea. Okay, good damage. And I don't suppose I can ram. Oh, definitely could. Our shield is down. Like entirely? Oh, entirely. Well, that's problematic. Restart our shields then. May not have been my smartest choice. We did also take some hull damage. But hey, we're learning how this system works. And we took out one of the 2 ships. So is that our shield? And it's saying that the front of our ship now has no shield. They were just saying we have 2 shields, one on each side. But that's looking like we have 80 shield points all the way around besides the front. Unless that's talking about something that's not our shield. Who knows? I think that's the end of our turn, though. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna shoot our torpedoes? Nope, you're gonna shoot our shield. Oh, we're taking damage. Okay, torpedoes. They have gotten out of the range of our torpedoes. How dare you? Although normally they said they destruct when they're adjacent to an enemy. So perhaps that's the thing to do right now, is just where they are here in front of the ship, we just detonate. Yeah. Got you down to 2 health. Not bad. We are now not facing the right direction. Could we do that U-turn? Maybe. Let's move touch forward and hope that gives us a better shot. It does not. What about... Nope, even forward, they'd be outside of the range of that gun, which is a shame. Voidship ram? No. Alright, just take a shot with our laser. There you go.
They pale before our mastery of the void.
Probably not a perfect attempt at how we handle all that, but it's fine. Repairing your ship. Enemy attacks can penetrate your shield and damage your ship's hull. This damage remains after the battle is over and must be repaired. Open the voidship management screen to make repairs of your ship. Use scrap to repair your ship and restore its hull integrity. Scrap can be found while exploring star systems, collected after certain space battles, or purchased from merchants affiliated with various factions. Okay. Our ship gained 1,500 experience. Gained some ancient machinery and 32 scrap. Hopefully that scrap is sufficient to repair our ship. Because we did take extra damage from that ramming that I probably ought not to have done. So... Okay, upgrade RAM. Upgrade hull. Increases hull integrity. Increases ram damage and reduce damage suffered when ramming another void ship. Okay, cool. We have various things that we can install. Wondering if we could upgrade any of those, but it doesn't seem like it. Yeah, what is the 80 here? Is that... I thought that was our shield, but I don't know for sure. So it would take 7 scrap to repair our ship. We've taken 9 damage, so I don't know how that corresponds. But yes, I'll spend the 7 scrap just so our ship is fully repaired. That sounds fair to me. So we already have both of those. These are new abilities we'll get later on, which if they match the abilities of our crew, allow us to use those abilities. Okay, and we can now upgrade these abilities because it was required that we use the ability once, and we have used that ability. We haven't used this one yet. What does upgrading do for us? 1 to 3 rounds. Okay. Making a full U-turn at the end of its movement versus this one, and can choose its final position from 3 directions. So it's a slightly better maneuver. Doesn't seem to cost anything that I can see. So yeah, let's just upgrade it. Shield Master. Looks like that is based on tech use. And he even has an ability, so yeah, obviously you. Master of Maneuvers is based on athletics. Heinrichs could theoretically do better, but you at least have an ability that goes with it. We're the best warp person. Awareness should be Cassia. No, you are actually our best awareness. How about that? Demolition, you guys are tied. But she has an ability tied to it. Not this ability. And this... Persuasion, yeah. Okay, I think we've got the best people in all the posts. So, we are in system now. Here. We've got a dead world. That's the Tech Priest Sanctum. A random ship and Footfall. I think we'll go to Footfall first. Just to find out what's going on. Because we are curious about this Liege of Footfall wanting to meet with us right away. Sounded sort of concerned. Okay, we've made it to Footfall. Oh. Huh. I guess let's go to Void Dock Alpha Row. Tattered Spirit. So we've lost Heinrichs as an available party member, which I guess is fair. And we've gained Abelard. Can I level you up? Let's level you up because I'm worried that as soon as we set foot on Footfall, knowing our luck, combat's going to immediately initiate, and he'll be a bunch of levels below everyone else. So we're going to take Abelard as our replacement to Heinrichs. So let's go through a bunch of level ups now. Do I have anything here that I care about? Clearly not. We've already selected both of those. So what do we have that is useful? Whereas melee attacks deal an additional +4 damage to enemies that have no allies in adjacent cells. Decent choice. Whereas critical damage is increased by 8% against enemies not armed with a melee weapon. If they're injured, gain more critical hit chance. Whenever the warrior is attacked, they gain +1 stack of Epicenter of Slaughter until the end of combat. At the start of their turn, the warrior gains +1 temporary wound for each stack. These temporary wounds cannot exceed 6. Okay. If we're going to go Vanguard with him, then more abilities that boost his temporary wounds would be useful. Attack of Opportunity deals 25% less damage to the warrior. Movement within range of attacks of opportunity costs 1 MP less. Where he gains +6 damage deflection against the first attack made by every enemy this combat. Damage deflection is the damage reduction, right? Just a straight reduction of damage. Yeah. Gain +6 damage deflection against the first attack made by every enemy this combat. That's cool. So first attack will deal 6 less damage from every single enemy. Against Abelard, in this case. Don't care about area attacks. When the warrior takes damage, they gain +13% dodge, stacks up to 3 times and resets after a successful dodge. No. Warrior uses single shot attack or a melee attack against a target. The warrior gains +17% armor against attacks made by that target for 1 round. +1 damage deflection. No, that's so situational. They have to be hit while under endure. Then they get +1 deflection for a turn. No. Damage dealt by charge is increased by 10 when the ability is used from a distance of 5 or more cells. Also somewhat situational, but ideally he will be charging a lot. When the warrior parries an attack, their next warrior archetype ability costs 1 AP less. Sworn enemy ability. What is that? I don't know. Here we go. When the warrior marks a target, gaining more armor and damage on melee attacks against that target. The warrior attacks if the target attacks the warrior during the round, the warrior gains 1 AP once per round. So this would say if they end their turn near, whatever near means, an enemy affected by sworn enemy, warrior gains more temporary hit points. Okay. And this costs how many AP? 1 AP to mark an enemy. Good to keep in mind. Maybe. That way when you charge forward, they have more damage. Charge and push increase the damage of ranged attacks made against the affected enemies. No. Increase charge by 3 cells. That's good. It's often not long enough, so if I can get it just 3 more cells, that's pretty good. Reckless Strike, that's this one, right? No, that's Daring Breach. What is Reckless Strike? Here. Okay, choice. I don't think we've ever actually used that. Charge and slash do not end the warrior's movement and grant plus 14 dodge for 1 round after use. That's also very good. Didn't really care about any of these. Or most of these. Because a lot of these were based around guns. Yeah, I think those are good choices, and I like the ramming speed most. Just allow them to charge farther. Now your skills. You can't choose athletics or carouse. So coercion, which is already pretty terrible, at 39, we could bump up. Demolition, which we already have a couple of people that are really good at that. Coercion, we've got just Cassia. And then Medicae, we have Pascal and Cabela are both good at it. What's your Medicae at? 30, so this would bring it up to 40. We'll go Coercion. Get it up to 49. Not a bad call. Next. Already boosted your weapon skill, so probably toughness or strength. Toughness is already at an odd number, so let's boost that up. Just make you more durable. Common traits, which apparently none of the things we marked apply to. Okay. Well, we could give him... We care about dual weapon combat? Probably not. Combat Master is alright. I was thinking we could give him weapon skill here, but obviously we can't because we've already done that. There just aren't enough talents that I care about. What does Chain Weapon Expert give you? +4 maximum damage. He is using a chain sword, and if I intend to keep him with that, then continuing to boost it wouldn't be the worst call. Sure. Yeah, we'll make his chain weapon better. And then another boost to these. So Daring Breach grants +10 movement, where it does not provoke attacks of opportunity this turn. For 1 round, the warrior becomes priority target for every enemy hit by their melee attacks, where he also gains +20 parry and +2 deflect. For this turn, melee attacks deal an additional huge chunk of damage. Probably not huge. Strength, which is 4, so 2 damage, which it says right there. We're gonna make him be Vanguard, which is my plan, same as we did with Heinrichs. Then getting enemies to focus on him is sort of his role. So maybe we'll go with that one. Then we get to choose. We should get to choose one of these. Why can we not? Oh. Nope. We are not selecting that. There we go. Yes, Vanguard for you. There we go. And Adira, while we're here, let's just get your stuff as well. We've already selected all those, it seems. Is this the level where we get to choose the next level of psyker? No, because as an unsanctioned psyker, you got to go all the way to level 19. Right. It's not as cheap as it was for us. Okay, then. Mental breach. Enemies that failed a willpower resistance test against the psyker's psychic powers will suffer an additional +9 direct damage every time they suffer mental damage till the end of combat. That sounds potentially cool, but I don't know how often enemies are going to suffer mental damage after also failing a willpower test. Beginning of every combat, the Psyker's allies gain plus 15% critical hit chance. The first critical hit removes this effect. Interesting. Maybe. Every enemy suffers a 21% dodge on the first dodge. Interesting idea. Exposed weakness costing 0 AP. Means it's easier to use. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to actually use her much, which is why I don't want to spend too much time on this. Hmm. Longer range is also good. +5. Every perils of the warp increases momentum by 14. That is insane, but hopefully we aren't triggering perils of the warp. Whatever. Let's go with increasing range of your psychic powers. Willpower is good, which is what you mainly need. Let's go with perception. And then perception's up, so let's go with intelligence? Sure. And predicted downfall. I don't like how this one doesn't specify this turn or until the end of combat. But I'm going to go with it. Okay, and then we get to choose your next archetype. Let's see. Perception, ballistic skill, awareness, demolition. No. Grand strategist. That's the one that we chose for Cassia. Oh, nope, nope. Go back to archetypes. This one that needs to be melee? Yeah. So definitely not that one, because you're not a melee character. Probably not assassin either. I think we'll go with bounty hunter for you. Marking prey and then doing more damage, etc. Sure. Okay. Now let's go to Footfall. To the Alpha Dock, taking Abelard with us, who's properly leveled up now. Head on down and see what's going on.